May tutorial. We are working on weaving, and I'm going to talk about the items that you may choose to have for this tutorial. As always, these are suggestions. You are welcome to get whatever you feel is best for your project. There are a bajillion different kinds of looms that you can get out there, all different sizes and shapes. This is a smaller one that my daughter started and gave up on. This is a bigger one that is made for kids, but perfect for adults in small spaces as well. We also have, I got the large one at my last trip. I'm gonna do a weaving setup on that. You can get a metal hoop. You can use plastic canvas, and I was trying to find our cardboard weaving pieces, but I can't find them. They're lost to the basement. So you can use whatever you want to start with. If you are a beginner, I would recommend our cardboard weaving setup, which should be on our Instagram tutorials, or a small loom, not necessarily with the base. This works just fine as well. All right, you just need something stable that you can warp up. That's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. If you're on a budget, seriously look into my cardboard weaving. If you are an intermediate weaver, I would challenge you to change your shape. Why is this a little bit more challenging than your regular basic square rectangle? Well, because there's less space in between your warps and it moves. So if you're a beginner, this is bad mojo. If you're an intermediate and you're comfortable with the basics, this is fantabulously challenging. You can add as many loops as you want. A-okay. You also pick a different shape. You get a triangle, and as long as you can figure out how to get these beautiful in and outs, then do whatever shape you want. Get an octagon. They have octagon looms. They have hexagon looms that are pin looms, and you just weave in between the pins. You got the pot holder looms. So let's say you have your base, okay? You're going to want some basic string to warp with. I like this. I pretty much buy it in bulk. A lot of times warping threads will come on cone. This is a cotton mix, so it has that bit of stretch and give that I like. A lot of people enjoy wool. That's great. It depends what you're going to use it for. What else are you going to need? Well, you're going to need fluff. Some people just use regular yarn. If you're a beginner, you'll recognize this from my Granny Square Shorts project. You can get something thicker. If you're all about that texture, this is going to create beautiful texture, and it already has color in it, so you don't have to worry about that. You could get the pencil roving that we found at the Maryland show. It doesn't have any color, but it's a beautiful, basic, natural. You can use literally whatever you want. But if you want to get fancy, and if you're an intermediate weaver, you probably want to get a little fancy. Get something a little bit different. This is a silk bamboo mix with a hint of shine. I don't know if you can see. Oh yeah, you can see the sparkle. So the texture is completely different and is a little more fragile, breakable, so you want to be careful. So if you're an intermediate, allow me to challenge you to try something different. They also have like little felting kits where you can get little bits of color. So I got one of those. I don't use it very often. You can get a variety pack of fluff, and I've had this for quite a long time, but I love the colors, so I kept it. And I haven't found a project I want to use it with. What else do I have in my fluff box? I literally have boxes and boxes of fluff. Yes. Let's see what else I got. I got a variety pack, mill ends. Just because it's inexpensive doesn't mean it's bad. You just got to find the right project for it. Same thing with this. This was a mixed pack. You can see some of them are shiny, most of them are not. But I liked the colors. And then one of my favorite colors, it looks like fire. I love it. I haven't found what I want to use it with though, so I save it. I'm gonna use it this month. So it doesn't really matter what you use, but you need to be careful because your loose fluff is going to be better on a warp that's close together, because if you have it on the outside of this, there's a possibility that it could fall through. Okay, it could break, could become loose, and it could fall through. What's the difference between something like this and something like this? I asked my daughter that this morning. She was like, "Duh, Mom, that one's a circle." And I'm like, "You've done this class before. This will become a finished piece. You will not have to take this off your circle. This is meant to be completed and then hung as a circle, right? This will need to be taken off of the frame. Any frame where you have everything woven in, you will have to take it off the frame before you use it, okay? So that's important too. If you're a beginner and you're like, I don't really want to deal with taking it off, it's something inexpensive and wonderful. Now, this is a little flexible for a beginner. You might want to hot glue some cardboard on the back to keep it firm. But again, get your warps going all around, weave it in, you're done. You're done. I love that. I love that. So I love the idea that you can work really hard on a piece and you don't have to take it off the loom. That's a beautiful, because it can be a little stressful to take it off the loom. No worries, I will be here to help you. But I just wanted to point that out. If you do get a fancy shape that is not specifically a loom or a pin loom, this will be your finished product. So be sure that you like the shape that you get. Again, for a beginner, I would suggest more strings, lots more strings. If you want a tighter piece, more strings, more strings. I'm gonna do some experimenting. So we have some very wide open strings. We're gonna play with texture and loops, and I wanna be able to show you that. And it's gonna be easier to see on a wider piece, okay? So what do you need? You need something to weave on, whether that is going to be a finished product, whether that is something inexpensive and highly available, whether that is an inexpensive small loom, whether it is a larger, slightly more expensive. I got that on sale for $40. You can see it on my TikTok where I talk about how I got the sale. So it doesn't really use cardboard. I love my cardboard. It flexes just enough, but it holds it tight. I really love my cardboard. I'm bummed I couldn't find that. What else do you need? You need something to weave in between your strings. Whether that is inexpensive acrylic yarn, that's fine. Whether you find some super awesome chunky roving, that's fine too. If you only have some very basic natural roving, you can still make awesome stuff. If you find bargain deals at sheep and wool, use it. You can use whatever you want. The next thing we were gonna talk about is composition while I warp the big loom. Thanks, guys.